Hello, my dear friends, and welcome. My name is Vickie Hadge, and this is Even So It Is Well. I'm excited for today's video because I'm interviewing Rachel Haddad from Chronic Movement. Rachel helps to transform lives through nutrition, movement, and mindset. Her mission is to empower and educate folks to show them that they have the power to overcome barriers and improve the quality of their lives through a gentle process using 6 factors of lifestyle changes. Rachel developed this program after being diagnosed with MS, and I'm honored to say that she's one of my MS sisters. Welcome, Rachel.
Thank you. Hi.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. So happy to be here. Excited to be on this with you.
I'm glad you're here. I've been wanting to do this for some time. So let's jump right in and start with what exactly is lifestyle medicine?
Yeah, lifestyle medicine. It's like the coolest thing in the world is what it is. It's like mitigating chronic illness, chronic disease through 6 main factors of lifestyle change. So, we have our sleep hygiene, our nutrition, plant-based nutrition, physical movement, substance intake, stress management, and social connection. So it's like if we sharpen all these factors of lifestyle, we can optimize our health and reduce the impact of chronic disease and overall just have a better quality of life.
Absolutely. You and I have both been dealing with our chronic illness and paying attention to not only our doctor's recommendations, but adjusting our lifestyle so we can be as healthy as possible is so critically important. So tell me a little bit more about the mission of Chronic Movement and why you started it.
Yeah. Okay, for sure. So the mission is, initially, so let me start with why I started it, because that'll lead into the mission. So I was first diagnosed with MS. Everybody knows their MS date, right? Their MS birthday,
Right.
December 3rd, 2018, at this, exact hour. So I was diagnosed with MS, and I felt like really powerless, really hopeless, like scared, all the emotions. I was like, what am I going to do? And then, as I continue to learn more about MS, I started to see that it doesn't have to be this death sentence that, an initial diagnosis, that's what I thought. It was like, oh, my life's over. I'm young and it doesn't matter because now I have this and it's over. I realized that like I have so much power within me, but I didn't know that until I educated myself, right? So I had to educate and empower myself to like look at lifestyle as another way of like supporting myself. So I started working out a ton. I was like, I'm just going to get really strong. And I changed what I ate. And then I was like, I started doing these lifestyle things. And I thought, I was like, well, everyone needs to know about this. Like I got to tell everybody that this is what's going on. And I couldn't walk for 90 seconds. And now I can run and lift weights and do all these things. And this is what I did. So the mission is to educate and empower folks through lifestyle changes that, they can take control of their life and their health and see the same changes that I saw.
Absolutely. You mentioned that date in time. I call it my diagnosis anniversary, and I was diagnosed in 2017, but my first symptoms were 11 years prior to that, and I wasn't diagnosed at that time. But like you, I wanted to be healthy. I said, okay, this has been a health scare. There's something wrong. They haven't figured it out yet. But I started eating better, more whole food, plant-based, more vegetarian. And I started doing yoga and meditation and, really honoring my body and taking care of my body to be as healthy as possible. And it was 11 years before I had another, or 10 years before I had another relapse. And so I saw the power of lifestyle and what it can do for us. And since being diagnosed, I've honed it in even more and educated myself even more. So, sharing that with other patients of chronic illness is so important. So that's your why. You started this because of your diagnosis. And tell me a little bit more about the path that you took to get where you are today.
I'll start with a little bit. Before I found this path, I was on like a pretty bad path. I was eating the standard American diet. I was overworked, overstressed. I drank too much. I just did too much. I hung out. I did all these things that were not really helpful. And so that was my path for since I was 15 years old. I did everything, whatever it is, I did it. And I made sure I did it a lot. And so, after this diagnosis, it knocked me literally off my feet. And now I can laugh at that, but at the time I'd be like, but it literally knocked me off my feet. And so then I decided, I was like, well, I can't do anything that I used to do really in terms of lifestyle choices, the drinking, the stress, the overworking, the eating poorly, so in terms of that, I couldn't do any of that anymore. So the new path, I got into a daily meditation practice. I meditate in the top of the day and in the bottom of the day, and sometimes in the middle when I feel kind of kooky, crazy. And then I decided to change what I ate. And it was gradual, right? Initially, I was like, I'm going to eat whole food, plant-based with fish. And then I was like, well, I think it was fish and chicken. And then I was like, well, everyone else is not eating, everyone else in support groups that I'm in, I'm like, they're not eating chicken. So I'm not going to eat chicken. And then, then it slowly turned into fully whole food, plant-based. And then I realized the importance of movement. I like daily movement. So then I started to get into that. I knew I had to get sober. I knew that I had no option other than getting sober. So that was very, I don't want to say easy, because it's not easy to deal with addiction and things like that. But that one was a non-negotiable, that was you got to do it, girlfriend. And I was a teacher for 8 years. And I actually just left that field of teaching this past July to pursue this career in lifestyle coaching, so that I can continue to tell everybody. I want everybody to know, and help people.
Exactly. Yep. It's so funny that we talk about it as a path, and we're on a journey, and we define our lives as before diagnosis and after. And before, a lot of us look at the standard American diet and the way we're living. And I think a lot of people live that way. They don't think much about what they put in their bodies. When you decided, okay, I need to make lifestyle and diet, lifestyle, movement changes, how long did it take after diagnosis before you felt that it was making a difference in your life?
Oh, wow. So initially, everything sucked, to be honest. Everything was noise was too loud, lights were too bright, people were too much work. And I would say the first month I was really just I couldn't even clean my house. And then I really noticed changes, after 6 months, but not even that big of changes, but some changes, gradual changes. And then, and that's the thing too, is that it takes, and everyone's different, but it takes a lot of time. And initially I thought, it's I must be doing something wrong, because I have symptoms still, and I still feel like this. So to answer the question, I'm 3 years deep about now. And I would say now I feel pretty darn good, but I still experience symptoms, if I don't sleep well, or I would say sleep is the number one.
I'm so glad that you said it takes time. When I was initially diagnosed, I was doing pretty good health-wise, but I said, okay, I really have to clean up my act. And I expected changes quickly. I expected to really feel good, in a week or two or a month.
Right.
And, here I am 4 plus years in, and I'm still noticing improvements and changes. And like you, if I don't sleep well, if I get stressed, or if I don't eat mindfully and, maybe eat some junk food, I notice an increase in symptoms. But it does take time. And, it makes me so sad when I hear people say, diet doesn't work. I tried to eat healthy and it just didn't work for me. It takes time. So how do you bring that message to the community? How do you bring the chronic movements message to the community and to the world?
Yeah. So my MO is to show people that it can be done very easy. Like we don't have to cook these like really extravagant things. We can, sometimes like, I'll put spinach in my oats, broccoli in my oats, or I'll do pasta, and I try to empower folks by teaching these like tricks, if you will, like these easy things. And then also like another big piece is like the mental aspect, the mental empowerment. So, especially like folks with MS or, and other chronic diseases or conditions, like we tend to have like this depression, this, where we just feel, and it's really difficult to get out of that. So part of the things that I do is like through spoken word, through motivation, like, it's not easy, but you can do it. It's not quick, but you can do it. It's, and I find that to be really helpful, because that's what really helped me, is just hearing the message of, yes, this will work out if I believe it. And if I keep believing it and I keep putting effort into it, that will come. So
yes. If the mind can believe it, the body can achieve it. That's one of the mottos that I use. And for my dear viewers, I follow Rachel on Facebook and also on YouTube, and she does amazing videos and shows us exactly how to do it and how simple it can be. So I invite you to find Chronic Movement on Facebook and on YouTube. Check her out. She really is a living example and shows how easy it can be to make changes. When I was first diagnosed and people found out that I went completely whole food, plant-based, they're like, what do you eat? And one of the things that I do is I try to show people what I eat by taking pictures of the food that I prepare for me and my husband. There are over 20,000 kinds of edible plants out there. So we don't look at it as excluding large portions of our diet. We're including so much more. We eat a more diverse diet now than we ever did. And I'm so glad that you touched on the mental health aspect of it. More than 50% of MS patients suffer from depression, and other chronic illnesses, people with other chronic illnesses also suffer from depression. So having that mindset and having that help with that is so critically important to living well with chronic illness. If you were going to meet someone who's new to lifestyle medicine and lifestyle changes, where should they start? Where would you advise they start? Nutrition, movement, mindset? Where should they begin?
If I was, meeting someone new, or let's say like a client or something, like someone brand new, or kind of outline this whole, like the 6 factors of lifestyle medicine. And I like to look at it like it's like all spokes of a wheel, because I don't think that one is more important than the other, but I think a lot of folks find it safer and easier to gravitate towards movement or food. And so then I would just like encourage them to go towards what they feel good at to start, because it's like this uprooting of our whole life system, right? It's essentially like changing everything. So I would say gravitate to what you feel the most confident in to start, and start getting some success there. Lock in the success. So if it's nutrition, if you like cooking and you feel confident like switching your diet, then do that for a little bit, lock in some success, and then add the other components. But it's super important, I think, to hit all of the components. Another thing, I would really invite them to start meditating like yesterday. Just start meditating, get to it. It'll help with like the cravings, and it'll help with, the discomfort. It will help with everything.
Oh, I love that advice. Start where your strengths are, start where you feel confident, and implement meditation daily. And I think meditation is a huge hurdle for a lot of people. Like you, I begin and end each day with meditation. When I wake up in the morning, I take at least 10 meditative breaths before getting out of bed. And when I get in bed at night, I take 10 more meditative breaths before I fall asleep. Bookending the day with being very present. And I also try to do a meditation practice in the mornings after breakfast and coffee and before I actually dive into my day. Any tips that you can give to people who are struggling with meditation?
Yeah, that it's called a practice for a reason, a meditation practice. And don't give up. The point of it is it's not to stress out about being perfect at it. The point is to let go of this idea that anything is perfect. Yeah, let go of that idea. And also another thing about it is it's okay to be thinking stuff. We all will think during it. Sometimes I'll go through a whole meditation and I'm like, oh wait, I thought the whole time, but that's okay because our body is still relaxing. And that's the point.
Yeah, it's a meditation practice, not a meditation perfect. It's not about emptying our minds. We can still have thoughts, and I do every time. And it's about being right here, right now, in this moment, not in yesterday, not in tomorrow, not what am I going to do for dinner tonight? What about the laundry? What am I going to do about this problem? It's about being really focused where we are at that moment. And I think, there's a misconception that meditation is being super still and having your mind completely empty. So I'm so glad that you said it's okay to have thoughts when you meditate. Do you have any last bit of advice that you would like to share with someone who maybe is new to a diagnosis and how they can get started?
Yeah, absolutely. My first thing would be don't give up. That would be, I had a couple little tips here. My first one would be just don't give up because it is tough. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it and say like, oh, MS is this like lovely thing. It's not,
It's not.
it's like kind of very scary. And, there's a lot of decisions. There's a lot of choices. It's tough. Okay. So that's my first thing, but don't give up and don't think that it's hopeless. Don't be hopeless because it could be really easy to allow that. Okay. So that would be my first thing. My second thing would be find a group of support. And I'm not saying like, go to a Facebook group of people that are constantly complaining about their symptoms or how bad they're feeling or no, don't go to those groups because they exist. They're not going to help you. Find a group, like one group that I found is OMS, Overcoming Multiple Sclerosis, the one that I met you in, and some of my really good friends in there, find a group that's like empowering, that's on the same path as you, that's solution focused. And also don't listen to anybody. No, don't listen to like people who are non-believers. So don't listen to the non-believers. I have experiences with certain people in my life who look at what I do and they don't believe in what I do. And because their outcomes were not this certain way and they just didn't believe to change their life in that way, they'll tell me like, oh, that's not going to work. Don't believe them. Don't believe the non-believers. Whatever you're aspiring for, even if you're not there yet, even if you're not fully, into eating this way, moving this way, thinking this way, all the things, think of where you want to go and find people who have what you want. And those are your people.
Oh, I love that. Find your people. Like you, when I was first diagnosed, I started visiting MS groups, and I visited several. Either they were online or in person, and it took a while to find the one or the ones that I was comfortable with, and I needed to find my group, my people. And like you, getting together with people who were negative, glass is half empty instead of half full, that was draining for me. And finding the Overcoming MS program and finding the Overcoming MS supports was amazing. You know, I found myself reading the post going, yes, 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 yes. And oh, that's perfect. Look, someone else who believes and is showing progress. You're right. Having this diagnosis is not easy. You know, we sit in our doctor's office and we are told you have a progressive, degenerative, incurable disease. That's really heavy. That is really hard, but we can live well with it, and we can support our bodies to live well with it. Even if our disease progresses, we can still live well through a combination of diet, lifestyle, movement, mindset. So it's important that especially the newly diagnosed know that. And also, you know, be gentle with yourself. You know, I have heard people say it takes a year, 2, maybe 3 to really come to grips with your diagnosis and really become comfortable with, I'm an MS patient, but I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be okay. I so appreciate you, Rachel. I love what you've done. I love how you've transformed your life. If people would like to work with you, how can they do that? How can they find you?
Yeah, folks can find me. They can look me up on my Facebook page, Chronic Movement. They can reach out to me through Instagram, chronic.movement. That one, I'm a little bit more playful on that, on that realm. They can go to my website, chronicmovement.life, or they can search me directly on Facebook, Rachel Detroit. So in any of those avenues, they can reach out. We could set up a little consultation for coaching and kind of see where they're at, see how I can.
Awesome. That's great. I will also put all of Rachel's information in the description below this video so you can find her. Rachel, thank you so much again. This has been a wonderful interview. My dear viewers, thank you for joining us today. If you like this video and would like to see more content like this, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below. And also, if you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. Until next time, my dear friends, be well.